Oh my God.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, what's going on, man? This is 911.
Oh my God.
Sorry, what's going on?
At this, at a condo.
Okay. Do you know what the address is?
What? Hey man, I'm trying to ask this guy right here.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Okay, I tell you what, let's do this. Rob, tell me what's going on. I've got it. Where are you at? Rob.
Yeah.
Tell me what's going on.
Somebody's been shot.
In 2009, Nashville, Tennessee was not only the music capital of America, but also the place that held the brilliant aura of Steve McNair, the legendary number 9 of the NFL Football League. At 36 years old, Steve McNair was once a living icon of American sports when he led the Tennessee Titans to the Super Bowl and won the MVP award in 2003. He possessed a fortune of tens of millions of dollars, living in a luxurious mansion with his wife Michelle and 4 sons. With a massive frame standing 6 feet 2 inches tall and weighing 230 pounds, McNair, in the eyes of the public, was the perfect model of a family legend. However, behind that facade, the 36-year-old superstar was immersed in an extramarital affair with Sahel Kazemi, a girl who had just turned 20. Kazemi was a waitress at the Dave & Buster's restaurant in downtown. The life of this young girl of Iranian origin was a series of days struggling with night shifts, the pressure of paying installments for an expensive SUV, and the anxiety of dealing with living expense debts in Nashville. The anchor of this relationship was the luxurious penthouse apartment that McNair rented at 105 2nd Avenue South, right in the heart of downtown Nashville. This was a secluded, private space where the sports millionaire and the 20-year-old girl met away from the spotlight. The collapse began on July 2, 2009. After being pulled over by patrol police on suspicion of driving under the influence, Sahel Kazemi's psychological state fell into an extreme crisis. Fearful of deportation, burdened by debt pressures, and driven by crazy jealousy upon learning that McNair was also seeing another woman, Kazemi made a ruthless decision. That afternoon, she sought out a man with a criminal record named Adrian Gilliam to illegally purchase a 9mm Walther PPK semi-automatic pistol for $100. On the night of July 3, 2009, Kazemi texted McNair asking to meet at the downtown Nashville penthouse apartment. Completely unaware of the lurking danger, the former NFL star arrived at the rendezvous. The two drank alcohol together in the quiet space of the apartment. By the early morning of July 4, McNair drifted off to sleep, slumped on the living room sofa. Looking at her 36-year-old lover sound asleep, Kazemi quietly pulled the Walther PPK pistol out of her handbag. In the utmost silence of the American Independence Day night, she approached the sofa. Without a word of argument, without a single warning sound, Kazemi pointed the gun barrel straight at McNair's head and pulled the trigger. The gunshot tore through the night. The first shot lodged straight into McNair's temple. As the former athlete's massive body collapsed, Kazemi continued to fire 2 more shots into his chest and a second shot into the victim's head to ensure he was completely dead. McNair was deprived of his life right while sleeping, without any defensive response whatsoever. Immediately after ending her lover's life, Kazemi did not flee. She moved right next to the foot of the sofa where McNair's body lay, sat down on the floor, pointed the barrel of the Walther PPK pistol at her own right temple, and pulled the final trigger. Around 1 p.m. on July 4, 2009, Wayne Neely, a close friend and co-renter of the apartment with Steve McNair, unlocked the door and walked inside after a personal trip. Amidst the joyful atmosphere of Independence Day, Neely froze in horror before the horrific scene right in the living room. McNair was motionless on the sofa, surrounded by blood, while Kazemi lay collapsed on the floor. Overwhelmed by panic and psychological shock, Neely immediately left the apartment and called a mutual friend, Robert Keith. Realizing the critical nature of the situation, Keith urgently dialed 911 at 1:35 p.m.
Oh my God.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, what's going on, man? This is 911.
Oh my God.
Sir, what's going on? Hello?
Hey, what is his address? What's his address?
What street are you on?
Lee?
Sir, what street are you on? All right, what's your name?
My name is Rob.
Rob, what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay, Rob,
It's been
Second and Lee don't cross. Where are you at?
at this at a condo.
Okay. Do you know what the address is?
What? Hey man, I'm trying to answer this guy right here.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Okay, I tell you what, let's do this. Rob, tell me what's going on. I've got it. Where are you at? Rob,
Yeah,
tell me what's going on.
somebody's been shot.
Just minutes after receiving the information, patrol cars from the Metro Nashville Police Department, along with emergency medical services, arrived with blaring sirens, cordoning off the entire apartment complex at 105 2nd Avenue South. At this point, all eyes of the investigators began to focus on the remaining traces inside the bloody scene. As soon as they received the emergency call, officers from the Metro Nashville Police Department Patrol Division immediately arrived at the scene. Realizing the exceptionally serious nature of the case, since the victim was a famous sports star, the Major Crimes Investigation Unit, along with crime scene technicians, quickly established a yellow police line surrounding the entire luxury apartment complex at 105 2nd Avenue South. If you find this case worth reflecting on, please like, subscribe to the channel, and share the video to support us. Stepping through the living room door, investigators faced a silent yet haunting scene. Bloodstains had begun to congeal on the sofa and spread over a wide area across the floor. The pungent smell of gunpowder still lingered in the enclosed space of the apartment. Every initial observation point showed no signs of forced entry. Locked doors were not pried open, expensive items remained in their places, and there were no signs of a struggle or scuffle disturbing the surroundings. Police immediately established strict scene protection protocols, taking wide-angle photographs, numbering each piece of evidence, and locking down all building entrances and exits to avoid contaminating traces. The arrival of numerous police cars and vehicles from the medical examiner's office outside the building quickly drew the attention of local media, pushing the atmosphere around downtown Nashville into an extremely tense state. The scene processing and autopsy work were carried out continuously for many hours through the coordination of the Davidson County Medical Examiner's Office and the Nashville Police Crime Scene Unit. At the scene, experts recovered a 9mm Walther PPK semi-automatic pistol lying right beneath Sahel Kazemi's right shoulder. A total of 5 shell casings were collected around the sofa area and the floor. Blood stain pattern analysis results, along with the position of bullet penetrations, indicated that Steve McNair was shot while in a resting sitting position, completely passive. Meanwhile, the gunshot wound on Kazemi's body bore all the characteristics of a direct contact wound at close range on her right temple. The autopsy report concluded that Steve McNair's cause of death was due to 4 gunshot wounds, 2 shots to the head, 2 shots to the chest. Sahel Kazemi's cause of death was a single gunshot wound penetrating the brain. The time of death for both was determined to fall between 1:30 a.m. and 2 a.m. on July 4, 2009. Notably, gunshot residue, GSR, testing on Kazemi's hands yielded a positive result. Fingerprints collected from the body of the Walther PPK pistol perfectly matched the set of fingerprints belonging to this 20-year-old girl. From indisputable physical evidence, investigators began piecing the entire sequence of events together to reach a final conclusion. Immediately after completing the initial forensic work, the Metro Nashville Police Department established a special task force to re-examine all relationships and the final activities of both victims. Initially, investigators did not rule out any hypothesis, including the possibility that this was a double homicide committed by a third party, or an execution related to gambling debts or personal vendettas involving the former NFL superstar. However, hypotheses involving outside intervention were quickly eliminated after the investigation team thoroughly analyzed the building's security system. Data extracted from surveillance cameras, CCTV, at the entrance and parking area of the penthouse apartment recorded no unusual intrusions between the early morning and afternoon of July 4, 2009. Kazemi's Cadillac Escalade SUV was the last vehicle to enter the complex before the tragedy occurred. The direction of the investigation focused entirely on reconstructing the timeline and analyzing digital data from the two individuals' mobile devices. Through extracting over 50 text messages and phone calls in the days prior to the incident, police uncovered a complex psychological picture. Phone data revealed that Sahel Kazemi was falling into a state of severe panic due to debt pressures, obsession over her driving under the influence, DUI, arrest on the night of July 2, and a surge of jealousy upon discovering that Steve McNair was pursuing another extramarital relationship with a woman named Jasonique Chase. The most vital key to unraveling the case's core knot was tracing the origin of the murder weapon. Based on the serial number on the 9mm Walther PPK pistol recovered at the scene, federal agents from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, ATF, alongside investigators traced the paper trail of the illegal gun transaction. Call logs showed that Kazemi had contacted a man with a criminal record named Adrian Gilliam repeatedly just hours after she was bailed out of the police station by McNair. When summoned for questioning, Adrian Gilliam admitted to directly selling the Walther PPK pistol along with ammunition to Kazemi on the afternoon of July 2 in a shopping mall parking lot for $100 because the girl claimed she needed a weapon for self-defense. This statement perfectly matched Kazemi's travel history and cell tower location data. In this case, the arrest process carried a special legal characteristic because the suspect who directly caused the murder died right at the scene. Since Sahel Kazemi committed suicide with the final shot, authorities did not execute any arrest warrant or escort against her. Instead, the investigation agency's sole arrest action was performed against Adrian Gilliam, the individual who directly supplied the illegal 9mm Walther PPK pistol to Kazemi. On the evening of July 8, 2009, right after consolidating complete evidence from gun transaction records and telecommunications data, federal agents from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, ATF, in coordination with Metro Nashville Police, surrounded and arrested Adrian Gilliam at his private home in the Laverne area, Tennessee. At the moment agents approached and read the arrest warrant, Gilliam showed no resistance whatsoever. The subject calmly complied with demands, placed his hands into handcuffs, and was quickly transported to federal investigative headquarters for interrogation. Gilliam was urgently arrested based on federal legal provisions regulating the illegal possession and trafficking of weapons by a convicted felon. Inside the federal interrogation room, the atmosphere was extremely tense. Adrian Gilliam initially appeared guarded, continuously beating around the bush and attempting to minimize his relationship with Sahel Kazemi to avoid being implicated in the former NFL star's massacre. Federal investigators applied interrogation tactics focusing on phone location data and call logs. Confronted with indisputable digital evidence, Gilliam gradually lost his composure and was forced to change his statement. "I only sold her the gun for self-defense. She said she was afraid for her safety. I swear I had no idea what she was going to use it for." Gilliam broke down, confessing to all the details of the transaction. Gilliam admitted to handing over the 9mm Walther PPK pistol to Kazemi on the afternoon of July 2 in a parking lot in exchange for $100 in cash. His statement matched the timeline gathered by the police completely. Gilliam insisted that he was merely an illegal gun seller seeking profit and was entirely duped by Kazemi regarding the weapon's intended purpose. To close the prosecution file in accordance with federal legal regulations, the Davidson County District Attorney's Office and Metro Nashville Police assembled a comprehensive, solid evidence system built upon 3 pillars: criminal physical evidence, digital data, and forensic examinations. The first key physical piece of evidence was the 9mm Walther PPK semi-automatic pistol recovered beneath Sahel Kazemi's body, along with 5 shell casings and deformed bullet heads recovered at the scene. Results from crime lab testing confirmed that all bullet heads lodged in Steve McNair's body and Kazemi's suicide gunshot wound were fired exclusively from this single gun. Kazemi's fingerprints, along with positive gunshot residue, GSR, results on her hands served as direct physical evidence confirming she was the sole person to pull the trigger. The second pillar was telecommunications and financial data. Records extracted from network providers and bank transaction logs accurately reconstructed Kazemi's journey of withdrawing cash, contacting the gun seller, and traveling to the penthouse apartment on the night the tragedy occurred. Additionally, witness testimony, including friends, co-workers at Dave & Buster's restaurant, and gun seller Adrian Gilliam, provided a factual foundation reinforcing Kazemi's motives of jealousy and psychological crisis prior to committing the act. Based on the complete evidence file, the prosecutor's office officially announced the conclusion of Steve McNair's case as a murder-suicide perpetrated solely by Sahel Kazemi. Because the perpetrator had died, the murder case file regarding McNair was closed without criminal prosecution. Simultaneously, Adrian Gilliam's federal weapon violation file was immediately transferred to federal court for official prosecution. The trial took place at the federal court in Nashville, drawing special attention from the media and the public. Although the person who directly took Steve McNair's life was no longer alive to face legal accountability, all public outrage and the focus of justice turned toward the defendant Adrian Gilliam, the accomplice who handed a weapon into the murderer's hands. At the trial, federal prosecutors presented ironclad arguments. Gilliam was a convicted felon, fully aware that possessing and trafficking illegal firearms constituted a severe legal violation. His contempt for the law to make an illegal profit of $100 directly provided a killing tool to a girl in a state of psychological crisis, leading to a tragedy that took 2 lives. The defense attorney attempted to plead for a reduced sentence, arguing that Gilliam had no knowledge of Kazemi's intent to murder someone, and that he had actively cooperated with investigators as soon as he was arrested. However, the federal court judge delivered an extremely stern sentencing statement. The judge emphasized that illegal gun dealers must bear responsibility for the blood price society pays. Adrian Gilliam was sentenced to 2 years and 6 months in prison, 30 months in prison, in federal prison, followed by years of supervised release upon completing his sentence. The sentence was handed down, bringing an end to the extended legal proceedings of one of the most shocking tragedies in American sports history. Steve McNair's sudden death created a wave of profound shock and grief across the United States, particularly for the Tennessee Titans fan community. Thousands of fans gathered at LP Field Stadium to place flowers, candles, and number 9 jerseys to commemorate the legendary former player. McNair's family, especially his wife Michelle McNair, chose to face the tragedy in silence and privacy. His funeral was held solemnly with the attendance of numerous colleagues, loved ones, and sports officials. Regarding public opinion, the 30-month prison sentence for Adrian Gilliam generated mixed views. A segment of the public felt this punishment was far too lenient for someone who indirectly supplied the gun that caused the tragedy. Conversely, legal experts assessed it as a sentence within the proper guidelines for the charge of illegal weapon possession and trafficking by a convicted felon. The event once again ignited fierce debates surrounding gun control policy in the United States. For Adrian Gilliam, the federal court handed down a 30-month prison sentence for illegal firearm possession as a convicted felon, not for Steve McNair's death. But as the entire case came to a close, questions regarding the official conclusion on the deaths of McNair and Sahel Kazemi continued to be raised by some. In your opinion, was 30 months in prison an appropriate sentence for Gilliam? And more importantly, after everything that has been released, are there any details in this case that still leave you feeling inadequately answered? Looking back at the entire Steve McNair and Sahel Kazemi tragedy, what remains in the end is not just the shock of a bloody tragedy, but the catastrophic price of wrong life decisions. First is the bitter lesson about the dark side of fame and emotional dishonesty. Steve McNair had everything millions dream of: fame, a massive fortune, and a warm family. But engaging in an illicit extramarital relationship, taking advantage of the innocence and dependency of a young 20-year-old girl, and then continuing to deceive through other secret relationships, pushed him into an extremely dangerous corner. When moral boundaries are disregarded and affection is turned into a game of power and money, people very easily forget that the other party, when backed into the ultimate corner of devastation and betrayal, can become the most devastating threat to their very life. On Sahel Kazemi's side, The tragedy of this 20-year-old girl serves as a heavy warning about psychological instability when facing life pressure. Delusions of a life-changing dream beside her millionaire lover, combined with crushing financial pressure and blind jealousy, completely consumed her sanity. Instead of seeking help or accepting letting go to rebuild her life, she chose the most extreme resolution, acquiring an illegal weapon and choosing death to drag down the person she both loved and hated. This case also exposes a cold reality in modern society: the far too easy availability of illegal firearms when human psychology hits rock bottom. It took only $100 and a few hours for an individual to completely destroy their own future and that of another family. A single moment of recklessness, a lapse into an indulgent lifestyle, or a minute of murderous rage not only steals 2 human lives, but also leaves behind permanent, unhealable wounds for those left behind. A wife losing the father of her children, and 4 young boys having to grow up under the tragic shadow of their legendary father. Mistakes in romance or finances can be fixed, but once the trigger is pulled, there is never another chance to start over. If you find this case worth reflecting on, please like, subscribe to the channel, and share the video so more people can learn about this story. And don't forget to leave a comment below. Your perspective is what makes discussions about cases like this truly meaningful.